you for joining us in our discussions today. So today we have our topic about antioxidant, muscle health, and sarcopenia. So our guest today, Mr. Vincent Wood, President of
AstaReal
Singapore, taking care of the Southeast Asia market. Hello, Mr. Vincent.
Hi, Fionn. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So, Mr. Vincent, like I mentioned earlier, there's so many big words that we are going to talk about, like antioxidant, sarcopenia, astaxanthin. Can you actually help us to break this down so that we can understand better what are these exactly and how they are actually part of our lives or, in fact, part of our health? Yeah.
Sure, I'll do my best to break it down. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, astaxanthin and in the space of antioxidants, how's that to start with? Okay, so antioxidants, we all know basically is to help the maintenance of good health, right? They help support a variety of functions in our body, maintain excellent functionality, even like, helping us with the immune system. So these are beneficial, and we can ingest these types of antioxidants, and there are also ones that are naturally occurring in our body. So it's always a question of balance of keeping both these internal antioxidants and the ones we eat from our food at a high level. So your body has a very high antioxidant status. And so when it comes to astaxanthin, now it's one of many hundreds of antioxidants out there, but astaxanthin is noticeably special in this area because it's something that you have to eat from food, and it's something that's not commonly found in many types of foods. So it's hard to get, but it's extremely important that now what we know about astaxanthin to include into our diet every day. For example, if we look at the antioxidant potency of astaxanthin compared to, say, vitamin C, it's like 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C.
Oh,
so that's quite a
high.
Yes, it's quite a big number there. And so what it can do is a number of things. Is actually help synergize with lots of other antioxidants to keep your overall antioxidant status very high. As I mentioned before, keeping it high means good health for a long term. And it can be called superfood. And superfood, like we all know berries, all kinds of berries are superfoods. Well, if antioxidant levels for astaxanthin is about let's say 4.5 times stronger than the blueberry, for example.
Wow, I guess that is very new information to a lot of people here.
Yeah, it's like it's been around for like 20 years, but to get to the end consumer, it's very difficult because it's quite a complicated molecule. But what we know nowadays, after 30 years of research at AstaReal, we know enough to basically say it's a kind of necessary part of your daily supplementation. If you're not getting it from the food, you've got to supplement it.
Wow, so it looks like, from all our regular other vitamins, we should be then adding on astaxanthin to actually keep ourselves even healthier and even stronger, yeah?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I may be biased, but I'm not actually. From what I've studied for astaxanthin for 20 years now, I've actually have it in my daily diet all the time, supplemented, and it's kept me very healthy. And and the job is stressful, and travel, if we can travel under current situation, it's extremely taxing on the body. So what it's done is kept me in tip-top shape. And I still feel like like I'm 10 years younger or something like that. So
great.
if done well, done properly, supplementation, nutrition, exercise are all important contributing factors to staying healthy and strong.
Yes, totally agree. So like now we have known so much about antioxidant. Thank you, Mr. Vincent. So what's like the next big thing is like how does it link to sarcopenia? Sarcopenia is such a big word. Like for me, I guess a lot of people may have heard them before, but they are unaware about what is this sarcopenia all about. And of course, it's not a common word like a cough and cold and a backache, muscle ache. So what exactly is it and how common it is?
Wow, these are some challenging questions. Sarcopenia is a medical word that is basically loosely translated to flesh poverty in the old Greek language, right? So what that really means, flesh poverty, not enough muscle, basically. And it is primarily it's age related. As you age, you can't stop it, right? So your body naturally loses muscle mass. Okay, and there are other factors that can contribute to this process. and things like nutrition, exercise, and other maybe underlying illnesses and things like that. All of those negatively affect the muscle mass amount. And as a consequence, you lose as losing muscle strength, you lose the strength and you lose functionality. And I tend not to like to use the word sarcopenia because it's too medical. What does it mean in everyday life? It means functionality and mobility. So if you don't have enough muscle, what happens is then you can't do your walks, you can't go shopping, and you lose a degree of independence. So overall quality of life goes down. And this is a growing awareness now, especially in Singapore. The government has been very vocal about this since I think Singapore now is in the top 5 countries, in the world that has the rapidly aging population, a very high level proportion, right? And what can be done about it? Because after all, we don't want the situation to become a problem where it becomes a burden, massive burden to the healthcare system, because there are so many people like that. So you can take these matters to your own hand, actually. We know enough nowadays to be able to slow down the sarcopenia rate and actually maintain a very, very high degree of functionality. And the clinical studies have shown it's possible with a few things like taking the astaxanthin, other forms of protein, and also exercise, and a good mental mental vision of where you want to be, in like 20 years time, right?
Yeah, we want to be like you, we want to be so energetic and always cheerful.
It's actually all down to diet, lifestyle, basically, for a long period of time. And it does start around 30s, right? And from there you have your peak level of muscle mass, and then after that it's a slow decline as for every decade. And just to illustrate, when you're in your 50s or even 60s, it could be between 1% to 2% of muscle loss per year if you do nothing about it. That's a serious amount. And in some serious cases, I can help relate. You see this bag of flour?
Yes.
All right, this is 1 kilogram. All right, but imagine this: you're losing a bag of flour every year, and this has a significant impact to your functionality over the, on a daily basis. So it's not like you lose 1 kilogram, you lose 1 kilogram of strength. No, it's not like that. Actually, the output is even bigger impact overall.
So actually, how does this condition affects us? Is like, we don't really see them, or people won't tell you that, hey, I have got sarcopenia,
Yeah, it's most people not even aware of it, and they accept this condition as just part of aging. We've got to change the mindset that actually you can do something about it. And we've seen cases where people who actually just integrate a bit of exercise every day, 30 minutes every day, watch what they eat, and they are in their 70s and 80s, and they've done remarkable things, and they still look like they're in their 50s. Not only science tells us it's possible to reverse some of these conditions, we've seen real life cases as well all over the world.
That's very encouraging. And of course, I guess because people are only talking about, hey, I should be strengthening my joints, I should be having a lot of good calcium food and strengthening our bones, but maybe people hasn't take care of or literally notice about muscle health after all.
You hit the nail on the head there, because without a good set of muscles to keep you standing, it doesn't matter how good your bones are, because most of the problems start with the muscle first before you get to the joint problem. So, by taking care of the muscle first is actually trying to prevent a lot of the joint issues later on, because it's all about the joints and the strong ligaments and tendons and things like that, and a strong set of muscles to help you do basic things.
So how does this astaxanthin actually help in terms of sarcopenia and, preventing muscle loss and boosting muscle health then?
Yeah, AstaReal's done a lot of research and clinical studies and preclinical studies looking at the effects of what action of astaxanthin in muscle. And what we found out is astaxanthin is a natural anti-inflammatory
Mm-hmm.
and very safe. So it can be taken for long periods without any concern of safety. But what it does is a natural anti-inflammatory, which in the cases of like sarcopenia, inflammation is really bad for the muscle. What it does, it starts breaking down too much muscle, and your body cannot balance out to make enough fresh muscle, you see.
Mm.
So that's why you start getting weak, and leads to the condition known as frailty, you know.
Mm.
So people can fall down a lot easier.
Mm. Yes.
They struggle to climb stairs and things
Mm.
like that. So astaxanthin's properties enables the body to kind of balance out, to create fresh muscle, strong muscle, to be able to slow down the rate of breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does, it gets deep, deep down into the cellular level of muscles, into an organelle,
Mm-hmm.
an organ called mitochondria.
Oh, wow.
And that's where all the magic happens, you see. So yeah, without getting too complicated, astaxanthin's target is known as a mitotrophic nutrient. And so at the science level, that's how it works. And then from a physical standpoint, you see all the output as like increased energy levels and increased endurance and strength. So clinical trials done in the USA on AstaReal showed that the muscle strength in like sarcopenic patients had actually increased by like 12 to 14%. That may not sound like a lot, but to a senior, that's humongous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they looked at the muscle sizes, and it increased by 2%, you know, over that time, and endurance levels by 23%. So science says that if you can control these, you can actually improve the muscles building capabilities and your functionality.
That sounds very good. Actually, that is really good. But of course, we didn't know that it's like so connected and so complicated. But nevertheless, it looked
Mhm.
like AstaReal Astaxanthin can really keep us healthy, even to the cell deep, I should say.
Yes, yes, it's beyond the skin, actually. Yeah, it's beyond skin deep. It really goes all the way down to that level. So, and it works in the right places, and so that's the key.
Yeah, so like Mr. Vincent, so what exactly astaxanthin, like how is it derived? And then of course you have mentioned that we can actually take it from food and stuff like that. So yeah, why not? We can just let us know, hey, maybe what kind of food that we should eat, and then we shall just take them.
Yes, yes. Okay, so astaxanthin is a red color,
Yes.
so and commonly found in the marine life, so
Mm-hmm.
fish, crabs, crustaceans, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the supermarket and you see lobsters and crabs and shrimps, you know, when you cook it, it turns vibrant orange or pink,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the color of astaxanthin, and
Wow.
it's been around all the time, and some people have been eating it unknowingly, so it's been doing some good to them. The
Yeah.
trouble is trying to get it from a food source. You're going to need to eat a lot of it to get the kind of like muscle benefits that is required.
Mm-hmm.
um, Looking at some of the levels that are existing in salmon, yeah, the kind of typical
Salmon.
salmon, yeah, you can get it from
Sashimi is
salmon,
favorite for a lot of people.
sashimi, yeah. So can you tell me, Fiona, can you eat 1 kilo of sushi or salmon every day?
Oh, I guess
You know,
not.
so breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for like
Oh,
3 months.
oh no.
Exactly. That's what's going to take to actually see the noticeable benefits, you see, and for your muscle. And
Mhm.
so that's why what we have done as the real is we found a way to concentrate it down into capsules.
Mhm.
So, you know, you don't have to go out there and buy a ton of salmon, right, every
Yeah.
day. You just take it in a small capsule.
Mhm.
And what we've done is that we have, it comes from an algae,
Mhm.
okay, a microscopic algae, and we are farming it in great big vats in USA, Japan, and Sweden.
Mhm.
And it comes out in a red powder, and I've got some with me. I mean, it looks like this, okay,
Oh, wow.
bright orange powder, and it's an algae, and it actually exists outside. And what we've just done is to take it in and grown it into our what we call our bioreactors. So we're in a sense we're farming the algae.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm.
And once those are grown, we can extract the astaxanthin, you see, and it looks like this, a very kind of concentrated
Concentrate.
red liquid. Right, it's a trademark color for astaxanthin. So that can actually be then put into the soft gel capsules, which you can just buy like
Mm-hmm.
this. And guess what? All you have to do is just take one of those pills to get your 1 kilo salmon's worth, basically.
Wow.
So, what would you rather do? Take a pill and then you get all the benefits, or eat all that salmon and get sick of it, So, it makes sense, and it's also more cost effective as well.
Yeah, and of course, there's people that will come and take a look and compare. Hey, there's so many astaxanthin out there. So how do we actually differentiate or choose a good quality one?
Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time educating people that science is important, and science done on the astaxanthin is important.
Mm-hmm.
And by far, I think AstaReal is now still the leading researcher of astaxanthin. So a lot of research that's published in peer-reviewed journals always reference, AstaReal is the source material. So what your effect you're looking for is exactly coming from that source. So that's important to look for. So the AstaReal branded types of astaxanthin is extremely important to look at, and especially also not just the science, the quality is
Mm-hmm.
important. We employ a special production system that keeps everything environmentally enclosed. So the algae is happy, contaminants are eliminated, and we get the cleanest, purest form of astaxanthin out there. So it's safe for people. That's the thing. That's very, very important. It's safe and it works because the science says so, right? So those are the things that are important to look for in supplements.
Mm-hmm. So like after maybe some time, we can't see probably how our muscle grow after taking astaxanthin, or how will people actually feel after taking astaxanthin for some time?
They feel great. That's all I can say. They feel really good. I mean, it's hard to really do it, encompass all the benefits because, there's a lot of research out there that covers, I would say, head to toe.
Mm,
And there's eye benefits. There is cardiovascular benefits, and not always just limited to just one thing. So when you are taking it for the muscle health
mhm.
maintenance, that's great. But also astaxanthin reaches all parts of the body as well. So you've got to make sure you take your pill after your meal, which is
Mhm.
great because then absorption is the best right after the meal.
Good, good.
And yeah, so if you got to have some natural fats in the food to be able to do absorption, so that's important. So once you take that, it will just go all over the body. So where, we mentioned, right, it goes deep down to the cell.
Yes.
Wherever astaxanthin is in the body, it will give you the benefit in that part of the body. You see,
Hmm.
so it's very important to take astaxanthin, but definitely the effects of the muscle is tested, it's shown, so you can expect to feel the difference as well.
Hmm. So of course, then people will start asking again, is there any side effects or even chances of
Mhm.
overdose? Yeah.
Oh yes, those are very important safety questions. I mean, you can look at me. I've been taking it for over 20 years
Sounds
at 12
good.
milligrams a day. So I say, okay, it's not doing any harm to my body. I've been very healthy, and so just speaking personally, yes, it's been very safe ingredient to take. It's been sold around the world for 20 years plus,
Mm.
and no adverse effects reported. We've got a portfolio of say 40 studies, safety studies, looking at the effects taken long term, and there's been no negative side effects reported. So overall, taking it at the recommended doses, okay, is need not be any concern for long-term intake. But let's say, whoops, I accidentally took
Mm-hmm.
um, too many capsules at one go. I don't know for what reason, but even if that case did happen, astaxanthin is extremely safe, and we've done like studies with big safety margins up to like 40 plus milligrams a day.
Mm.
So and one capsule is 12 milligrams. So it's actually quite within the safety range.
Okay.
And just to say more, the body can only absorb a certain amount of astaxanthin at one time, right?
Mm.
And so if you do take too much in one go, it will just be passed out through the body.
Mm.
Okay, so it will not absorbed. And for the long-term intake, there is no kind of negative accumulation effects in the body. So astaxanthin has about like a 72-hour half-life, and then once you've taken it, it will gradually decrease over time. It doesn't cause any side byproducts as well from normal metabolism. So
Mhm.
it's extremely safe. In Japan, it's used for a long time now, and it's all in lots of food products as well as supplements.
Okay. Wow, I think we've learned really a lot from Mr. Vincent today. Thank you so much for sharing with us all this knowledge and information. So, of course, Cordels is very proud to be able to do a co-branding together with AstaReal Singapore. So, we have our
Mhm.
official e-store at www.novanta.com.sg that you can purchase Cordels AstaReal Astaxanthin 12 mg, 12 milligram. So, that is exactly the clinical dose that actually proven with all these clinical studies. So once again, we thank you, our guest, Mr. Vincent, and of course, thank you for all who have joined us today. So we hope to see you again real soon. So keep active, keep
Thank
healthy.
you.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.